Welcome to the Hired Hub podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering the complexities of remote work and pushing your career forward.
Whether you're tuning in from the busy streets of Latin America or any corner of the globe, we're here to give you tools and insights to succeed in today's dynamic job market. I'm your host, Gaby Morales.
And I am your co-host, Jess Torres. If you're a recent graduate eager to leave your mark or a seasoned pro looking to redirect your career, you can join us as we explore the endless possibilities of remote work and career growth.
Get ready to unlock your full potential with the Hired Hub podcast. We've been thinking a lot lately about how we define ourselves and our careers, especially in a world where so much of our professional lives now exists online. It's not just about doing the work anymore. It's about how we present ourselves, how we connect with others, and how we find our place in a digital landscape that's constantly evolving.
As someone who's navigated the ups and downs of building a career, I've realized that personal branding and networking aren't just buzzwords. They are essential for anyone looking to stand out, especially in a remote work. But these tools are even more powerful when paired with the right guidance and support, particularly when it comes to breaking barriers and stepping into leadership roles.
We're going to dive into these topics with someone who has not only mastered the art of personal branding and networking, but has also dedicated herself to empowering others, especially women, to step into leadership. Our guest today, Ermi, has a wealth of experience and insight that we know will resonate with you, whether you're starting out or looking to take the next big step in your career. Starting out with a strong network and online presence, Ermi has built a powerful brand that now reaches thousands. Her story reminds me of the determination it takes to carve out a space in a competitive landscape.
Beyond her personal success, Urmi is a passionate advocate for women's empowerment in leadership. Through her work with organizations like Women in Leadership and Feminine Influence, she is committed to mentoring and uplifting others, particularly women striving to break through barriers in their careers. So, Urmi, welcome to the Hired Hub podcast. We're thrilled to have you here today to share your insights on personal branding, networking, and women in leadership. How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
We're doing great, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Before we start today's conversation, Ermi, I know you're passionate about personal development and staying active, especially with Muay Thai. What's something you've recently enjoyed or learned outside of work that's brought you joy or a fresh perspective?
So I journal on a regular basis, but now I started to do it a bit more, and I use, those prompt journals where they ask you a question and then you answer them. It's not the 5-minute guided journal. It's the other one where you have prompts and they ask you things, random things, and you just answer them. And I've been doing a lot more of those, and I've been enjoying it a lot because I think they give you a little bit of, introspective about you, who you are. And I think it's very therapeutic at the same time. So that's one thing that I've been enjoying a lot more. I try to write down my thoughts as much as possible because I think it helps me to just be, just with myself, being present, and it's fun.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. Ermi, your career journey is truly inspiring, and especially considering how you've built a strong personal brand and network from scratch, starting without a LinkedIn presence. Many remote work candidates find themselves in a similar position where they recognize the importance of personal branding and networking, but aren't sure where to begin. Given your experience, I think it will be incredibly valuable for our listeners to explore how they can effectively build their personal brand and just leverage their networks to find their remote job that they want.
Yeah. Ermi, you've experienced firsthand the importance of personal branding and networking, especially as someone who started out without a LinkedIn presence. So for those who are just beginning to establish their presence online, what are the key steps they should take to effectively build their personal brand?
Yes, I can definitely share a little bit about my story when it came to personal branding and building a presence online when you have no presence at all and you don't have a LinkedIn profile that helps you to basically leverage yourself. For me, it really started my very first step, and especially for anyone who wants to build sort of like a network of connections. It's important with creating a profile on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is pretty much the tool out there that helps you to be connected professionally. But I think it also helps you in a sense to also show the world who you are. And for me, for instance, like I started with understanding my values and who I wanted to represent, what I wanted to represent. And I started to use a LinkedIn more with that. Like I started to promote things on LinkedIn about the work that I was doing outside of my 9-to-5 job. I started to post like YouTube content that I was creating on my YouTube channel. I also started to post like, articles when I would be mentioned. Because I think personal branding, as much as, let's say like we all work like a 9-to-5 job, you still have like your own personal branding, which is important to develop. And I think this is something that you should just do outside of your work as soon as you know like your values, who you want to show yourself to the world as. And it's important to show that personality because I think that, often when it comes to 9-to-5 job, we are associated to a company, but then when you no longer work for the company, there's always that personal brand that you have built. So it definitely starts with little steps such as creating a profile, doing things outside of your general, like doing the things outside of the box. So writing articles for organizations, being part of communities, volunteering, and putting all those things on LinkedIn because the first thing that people look up when they're like trying to find out who you are is like typing your name. And then if like things show up, it just shows your outside interests, your personality. And I would say that would be like the starting point, understanding who you are, your values, and what you want to put out there.
I like that when you say thinking outside the box, because there's a lot of people that are doing the same regarding personal brands and everything. But I think being yourself, it's really important. And just what you say, like identifying these values that you have, being persistent, as you were saying, like every day posting, like reminding people that you are there. That's really important. And I love this topic because I'm a social media manager. So I do see a lot of personal brands that are having really good performances with their profiles, and especially LinkedIn that helps you to be more open to different job markets or different people that probably are interested in investing, or I don't know. It depends on the goal that you want. But I think that developing this personal brand, it's a mission, and sticking to what you truly are and align with it, it's really important. And being patient, I think also it's really important because if you don't have persistence, with time you will get probably bored or sad with the result. But that's something like a personal brand. It's something that it's built from a long term, and you should be putting that effort in there. So, Ermi, we know that networking has become even more vital or important in this remote work landscape, yet it can be daunting, especially for those who are new to it. What strategies would you recommend for someone that's looking to expand their professional network, particularly in the context of remote work? Like, could you share some or any specific techniques or approaches that you've worked well for you and those that you've mentored before?
Yeah, and I can definitely tell you that I built a lot of my connections remotely, especially because when I created first my personal brand and my profile on LinkedIn, it really happened during the pandemic. So everything was pretty much remote and I didn't know where to start and I wasn't quite sure how to do the connections. And just to refer back to what you said, personal branding, it takes time and it does take a lot of persistence and patience because I think people want to see the work overdone overnight. But then, like when it comes to personal branding, it's something that like leads up to it. Like it's only afterwards that people are able to recognize it. It's only like after doing a lot of work that people can see that, oh yeah, she has a brand of her own. We know who she is. We know who's behind, this blog, this YouTube channel. And going back to your networking question, so for me, it was I did build most of my network online through like the remote, like the remotely basically. And for me, the way I did it was really by joining organizations that were related to my industry. So myself working in finance, what I did is I actually joined organizations such as 100 Women in Finance or other organizations that were like, let's say, organizing webinars, networking sessions online, and I would just join them. And just by joining them, basically, I was able to connect with other women in the industry who are not necessarily located in my same country. And I feel like that's the beauty of like remote work. It's that now you're not limited in like, within the confines of your country, but you can expand yourself and have connections outside of the country. So like 100 Women in Finance has been like one stepping tool for me because I feel like I managed to connect with people in the same industry, people who are outside of my country, people who are basically pursuing my career path. So that has been helpful because I feel like has been really, really valuable. That has been one thing that I've done. And then also on my YouTube channel has helped me to have people connecting with me and asking me questions about the things I was posting. So that too has helped me to build that too has been like a tool for me to build my network. And then definitely, like when it comes to like organizations, it wasn't just that one that I it wasn't just the 100 Women in Finance that I used, but also other organizations that are not necessarily related to my career field, but also like more about my interests. So like Women in Leadership, just to mention one, right? Like I am the social media lead of this organization. And again, this one, I volunteer for another chapter, which is not, again, located in my city, but we do like webinars, workshop, mentoring. And again, I managed to connect with people that are not necessarily located in my country or, in my city, whatever. So that too has also helped me to connect and build like a sort of like a network. And also because I do like a lot of like collaboration, like Instagram lives or invite people on my YouTube channel, I always look for people on LinkedIn and reach out to them directly. And that too has helped me to build a sort of like connection. And through these connections, like depending on how long I work with these people for the Instagram live or for the interview on your YouTube channel, or even for podcasting itself, I asked them also to write me a reference, like recommendation on LinkedIn. That also has helped, to post that in my profile. So these are some of the things I have done.
Yeah, so definitely you mentioned there the two main important things, which is just being there, just showing up, going to the virtual events, joining the online communities, because that's the way that you reach out to this broader community. I know that it's a big difference between doing it personally, because when you have the physical presence, you have so many other benefits of nonverbal communication. But when you're in the virtual environment, you just need to show up and you need to be consistent. And I like the other thing that you say, that it's just like also utilizing content creation, to attract people, the Instagram lives, the LinkedIn posts, just posting, things that are aligned to your values, to your personal brand, because it's a great way to attract like-minded professionals and really spark those conversations. I would add on, Ermi, that part of following up, because I feel like at the beginning it's very daunting. You reach out to people, and again, a lot of times you don't get that answer. You don't get any answer at the beginning, so you need to just follow up. You need to be very consistent. And of course, not annoy people, because again, I feel like at a certain point when you reach out to them many times and they don't respond to you, that's your answer. But don't be afraid to reach out, to really just maintain that communication line, because maybe at the beginning people don't pay attention to you, but when you start personalizing the messages that you're sending, when you start to really be consistent there, you're going to attract more people. And I know that that's what mainly a lot of people are scared of in the beginning, that they do the initial reach outs and they don't get a response in exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If I could add a little bit to that, I also used to do that myself. Like I had people reaching out to me for like questions, but then I would do the same thing too, where I would actively like reach out to people that, had an interesting profile from who I could learn, that were like from my industry, or maybe like I was searching for a job and I wanted to have like, let's say, an advice. I would be like not shy and just reach out and ask them for like a question. And I think, and that's the job of like like doing this remotely. So you have to be courageous. You cannot be shy, because, there is this barrier now that we're not meeting face to face. We're meeting virtually. But I also think this is an opportunity, because you're not stuck within, your own city. You can like broaden a little bit you can expand a little bit your connection. So I think that you just have to be not shy, basically.
And the worst things that someone could say is just no.
No, exactly.
It's fine.
And it's fine. Exactly. You move on. You find someone else that you align with and that you are interested in connecting with, and you just go for it. And eventually you will find people that connect with you and that really do want to spark those conversations. Urmi, as someone who has not only navigated these challenges, but also taken on leadership roles, particularly in advocating for women's empowerment, I'd love to dive deeper into the unique experiences of women in leadership. So if we can talk about how women can navigate the challenges of leadership, especially in a remote or a male-dominated environment, and how self-investment plays a key role in this journey, that would be excellent.
And also, as someone that's deeply involved in women leadership initiatives, I'm curious to know how you see the unique challenges women face when climbing the leadership ladder, particularly in male-dominated industries. So how can women in remote or hybrid roles navigate these challenges while advising and advancing their careers?
Yeah, definitely. And that's a very good point, whatever you just said. I myself come from a very male-dominated industry, and it is hard. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman. It's hard to be a woman professional in any type of industry, but especially when it's very male-dominated, it's even harder. Because I've seen also myself that there's a lot of there's a lack of diversity. There is a lack of representation, and often women are very much undervalued. There's also a lack of visibility in a sense too. Like women tend to take time off. They tend to, take time off, want to work from home a bit more, have that flexibility, which sometimes I think it's a little bit of a disadvantage. But there are some things that I think women can do to basically educate the other people around them. I do think that having open conversation, open dialogues with their bosses and managers, it's a way to educate basically the people that you're surrounded with, especially if you are in a male-dominated industry, because I feel like sometimes male are not aware of everything that we go through. And then I also very much like mentoring. And I think mentoring is something that I've been doing a lot. I like to have the connection with other women, because I think it's a learning opportunity, and it's not just one way. It's actually a two-way street where you learn both from the mentor and the mentee. And I think you can get valuable insights from this mentoring relationship, which are often offered by the company themselves. Like they do have mentoring program, but also like outside organizations like Women in Leadership, right? We have also a mentoring program as well, where you are paired up with other women from the industry or even outside of the industry. And you can always like share your concerns, how to navigate certain things and stuff like that. So those are very helpful, because you learn from their actual experiences that women went through. And then there is this other thing that I have also started to do as well, which we have in our company. It's called coffee chat. So it's coffee chat conversation. So how it works is that you create a profile on the system, and then you say like, what are your interests? And then the system basically what does is it matches you with someone, and then you have like 30 minutes or an hour type of conversation with the person that you have matched. And usually I use I use this coffee chat to basically ask questions and learn from other departments, you learn from other women, and it's been very valuable because I think you learn from these conversations, and you have people from other departments as well. So you also get to learn a little bit how it's you not only you learn about your company itself, but also like what your company offers. If there are maybe like things that you want, like if you want to change eventually to a different department, you learn a little bit what the company offers. So these are like some of the things I have used because I think like conversation, mentoring, coffee chat, you just learn from the person directly, and they're very good when it comes to like navigating challenges. So these are some of the things I would suggest.
That's actually a great insight because I myself, I'm in a chief of operations position. And one of my biggest struggles is like that double bind that exists where we're expected to be assertive because the role requires it, yet we're penalized for it. Or we're very criticized for having, for being strict and for doing the job that needs to be done. And considering that's a struggle for me, I never thought of having that space where I can talk to other women that have gone through the same experience that I can actually learn from. Because it makes you feel isolated a lot of times. Like there's no, like I can talk with other people and I know other men that are in similar positions, but they don't live the female experience. And that's a really great idea. You mentioned that a lot of organizations actually do that, actually include that in their policies. I don't know if it's generalized. It's not something that I've heard before, for example, in Latin America. But I think it would be great that organizations start being more inclusive in their policies and cultures and actually really do consider those opportunities. Because sometimes you do need that specific kind of mentorship where you're navigating through waters that are so new for us. And that can really become a struggle. Like it can really become a blocker at a certain point. I'm not going to say that I'm completely demotivated from pursuing a high leadership role, but it's a struggle, definitely.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It's a struggle. I also cannot say if this is a global thing. Like I worked for 2 companies and my previous company had also a mentoring program. So I feel like I do see, let's say, more like a progression towards including this type of mentoring program in a lot more companies. But we also have another thing as well in our company. I forgot what it's called, but basically it's sort of like ask me anything type of thing where you have like a group leader, usually it's a woman, and then like you can join this sort of like an hour conversation with other women. Wow. And you have this group leader who's basically sharing her own experience, career path, and then they're sharing like tips. And this is usually like open to women. So we also have that opportunity as well to join this conversation and just hear from other people's stories.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's great. It feels very empowering also because again, it feels like you're not alone.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. I'll definitely be looking into that. Ermi, you've been an advocate for women's empowerment and personal development, often highlighting the importance of self-investing. To wrap up today's conversation and drawing from your experience and the work that you've done, like what role do you think that self-investment plays in empowering women to take on leadership roles? Like, and how can women, especially those working remotely, start prioritizing their personal development to prepare for these roles?
I definitely would say that self-investment, it's an important element when it comes to the personal development of a person. This is regardless of the gender. Because I think if you ever want to advance in your career, if you want to go forward, you always want to have the eager to learn and invest in yourself. And there are many ways that you can definitely do it. I think, again, it goes back to the fact that we're so remote that I think it opens up even more opportunities to invest in yourself. Because like now there are so many resources out there. Like, I don't know, anyone can take course on, then anyone, can take an online language course, or you can also use YouTube to find resources to learn. There's so many opportunities out there for people to basically learn and just grow personally. So these are some of the ones that I have mentioned. Again, also there are organizations that you can join that are also just remote strictly. But I think it goes back to first identifying a little bit your goals, like what is it that you want to achieve, and trying to see is this feasible in the short and the long run? Because like you said, some of the people they work from home, they often don't have time. But I think it's writing down a little bit your goals, your to-do list, the things that you want to achieve in the short run, and then see what is it that is achievable. So basically we're talking about SMART goals, identifying your values and then tackling it from there. Some of the things that I have done in the past is I am a big proponent of self-investment. So for instance, Toastmasters is an organization that I am part of where I work on my public speaking skills. And before we used to just meet in person, but now we have an opportunity to join the meeting online. So there are organizations like Toastmasters, if you want to work on your leadership and public speaking skills, where they just meet online. So that could be something that's easily feasible, or it's easy to manage within your busy schedule if you work from home. The Women in Leadership organization, the one that I worked for, we have leadership development program where people can sign up. And again, these are virtual, so you don't have to be in a specific place to attend the course. And they are a 3-month program. You can also find coaches again, which are virtual, and you can work 1-to-1, and you can decide the time that works best for you. So basically the opportunities, I would say, are infinite. And I do think that you have to start by doing little things. And that book from James Clear called Atomic Habits, where he says you have to start little by little, and then you will see the dividends being paid off, or I think he calls interest being paid off, or something like that. It is because you have to start with small things, but then over the long run you will see basically how the work that you have done has helped you. And I think, to go back to your question at the end, self-investment is so much important for any person. It's because it makes you much more confident, it makes you much more empowered, it makes you much more skillful, and you feel you have so much knowledge that you can share out there, and you feel invincible. So that would be my my advice.
Thank you so much. I think those are really insightful things to learn from you. And I also think that by doing it, it creates that confidence, that self-confidence in you, in leadership, and just investing in these courses. I think that's something we'll be improving daily. And I don't know, it's just the significance of setting aside time for reflection and goal setting to ensure that all of this personal development, it's allowed with our leadership aspirations. I think that's really important. And thank you so much for sharing those tips with us, Urmi. We're really happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Ermi, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Your journey in personal branding, networking, and leadership is truly inspiring. And I know our listeners will walk away with valuable strategies they can apply to their own careers.
So as we end today's episodes, we want to remind everyone that the way that we present ourselves and connect with others can shape our opportunities and future in powerful ways. Whether you're building your brand, expanding your network, or just stepping into leadership, take the time to invest in yourself and your growth.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. We'll be back soon with more conversations to help you thrive in your professional journey. Until then, I'm Gaby.
And I'm Jess, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
That wraps another episode of the Hired Hub podcast. We hope you found today's discussion empowering and insightful. Remember, success in the world of remote work is within your reach, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more expert advice and engaging conversations. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us reach more people who can benefit from the Hired Hat podcast.